Republicans now have what appears to be a big problem in Georgia. An October surprise is rocking the crucial state Senate race there 5 weeks before the midterms. The GOP's anti-abortion nominee, Herschel Walker, is denying a bombshell report from the Daily Beast that he urged his girlfriend to get an abortion back in 2009 and paid for the procedure. The Daily Beast reports the woman, whose identity they did not reveal, supported her claims with a $575 receipt from the abortion clinic, plus a get well card from Herschel Walker and a bank deposit receipt that included an image of a signed $700 personal check from Herschel Walker. This is that get well card. It appears to have Walker's signature there, along with the message, "Pray you are feeling better." On the campaign trail, Herschel Walker has likened abortion to murder. He's called for a total ban on abortions, with no exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the life of the mother. Walker's own son is now speaking out against his father. After that Daily Beast report, he turned to Twitter to say his dad is a liar who threatened to kill his mother and him and force them to move several times to escape his violence.
I stayed silent as the atrocities committed against my mom were downplayed. I stayed silent when it came out that my father, Herschel Walker, had all these random kids across the country, none of whom he raised. Do you care about family values? I was silent, lie after lie after lie. The abortion card drops yesterday. It's literally his handwriting in the card. They say they have receipts, whatever. He gets on Twitter. He lies about it. Okay, I'm done. Done. Everything has been a lie.
The candidate went on Fox News last night and did an interview with Sean Hannity. Herschel Walker said the Daily Beast report is the lie. He claimed Democrats made up the abortion story to distract voters from inflation and crime.
Do you know the woman that is making this allegation?
I have no idea, but it is a flat-out lie. But I can tell you right now, I never asked anyone to get an abortion. I never paid for an abortion, and it's a lie. And I'm going to continue to fight.
National Republicans are rushing to defend Herschel Walker. Remember, their path to flipping the Senate is narrow, and Georgia is one of their chances to do so. The GOP's campaign arm and top spending super PAC released statements saying they are sticking by Walker. And so is former President Trump. He says the former football star is being slandered and maligned. A source close to Walker's campaign tells NBC News they expect to have Republicans coming to Georgia, standing with Walker, shoulder to shoulder. Let's bring in Patricia Murphy, political columnist for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution newspaper. Patricia, thanks so much. Herschel Walker has had his share and more of controversy on the campaign trail. Is there anything to indicate that this one could do real damage?
Yes, this one could do real damage, and we know that from talking to other Republicans here in the state. I would say these are two separate situations. There's the situation with the abortion allegations, because that's an unnamed source. The Daily Beast is not well known here in Georgia. I'd say that's pretty easily dismissed by conservatives. Certainly national Republicans have said that's just all Democratic lies. It's a Democratic hit piece. The more damaging, much more damaging situation is with his son, Christian Walker. He has really not said a whole lot during this campaign, but came out in just this absolute firestorm of emotion. You could tell he was really practically grief-stricken, talking about running from his father, his mother, and he moving 6 times in 6 months in fear of violence from him, that he had threatened to kill them. That is not easily dismissed right now by Herschel Walker as a Democratic hit piece, because it's just not. We hear from other Republicans in the state who are worried about that. Right. They know that this is something that he needs to answer for, but has not.
Patricia, I'm short on time, but we both know he's set to debate Raphael Warnock in 10 days from now. Any sense on how the Warnock campaign is handling this or plans to handle this?
So the Warnock campaign so far has said nothing about this. Senator Warnock has said, listen, the decision about an abortion is for a woman and a woman alone. He's always said that. He has not gone after Herschel Walker on this particular piece of it, but he has run very aggressive ads about Herschel Walker and his conversations with his wife on air in an ABC interview, with her talking about the abuse that she suffered at his hands, that he had threatened to kill her, held a gun to her head, strangled her several times. So all of that is out there, and the Warnock campaign has absolutely used that in ads against him, and that has been damaging.
Yep, the scandal bar has certainly moved in recent years. Patricia, it's nice to see you again. Been a minute. Thank you.